Hey guys, it's Kira and welcome to Vlogmas number 8. I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting today's vlog feeling a little bit irritable and also very on edge, and that could come down to a couple of things. First of all, the irritableness is probably down to either waking up at 4 a.m. or not having had breakfast yet, or more likely a combination of the two. The feeling on edge, however, I'm blaming, it's moving, on an 8-legged beast that I've just spotted in my kitchen. I hate spiders so much. I genuinely feel sick. And now I'm like, is it even worth making breakfast at this point? I know I said I was hungry, but I actually feel quite unwell at the thought of this spider. Normally so I'm a vegan, obviously, we know this, and this is probably really bad, but spiders just, I can't stop looking at it. Please stop moving. I hoover them, I do. If there's no one else here to help me, I will hoover a spider because I literally, it feels like it paralyzes me and I just don't know what to do with myself, which I know is quite pathetic, but I feel it to my very core, like oh God. I'm so upset right now. The problem I'm having today is the fact that Jay is out of the house now. He's going to be out until possibly 6 p.m. and oh my God, I've lost it. Oh my God. Oh my God, I lost it. So Jay's out of the house now until this evening, and he is keeping the present he's bought me for Christmas in the cupboard under the stairs, which is where we keep the hoover. That means I can't get the hoover out because I have been forbidden from entering, and now I've lost the spider in the kitchen and this is it. This might be the last you ever hear of me because I am done. I'm done. Can't believe I've lost it. Wow, this is disastrous. Honestly, you know when you just you wouldn't even normally look at a part of a wall or something, and then suddenly your eyes are just drawn to it, and the reason that your eyes are drawn to it is because there's a hellish beast on the wall. That is what's happened to me right now, and it has ruined my day. I'm gonna try and recover myself and make some food and a cup of tea, and then escape up to the office where I shall spend the rest of the day. And I will probably be thinking about this spider literally all day long because that is just what they do to me. I also dream about spiders sometimes. I have woken Jay up in the middle of the night before with me dreaming about spiders, and I've hit him because I thought there was a spider. They get under my skin in the most horrific way. I don't know if anyone else can relate to this because I think the fear is just so innate in me that it takes over everything. It's awful. So anyway, welcome to Vlogmas, very festive, and let's kickstart it by trying to lighten the mood with a advent calendar cup of tea. So today is, as I mentioned, the 14th, so we've got number 14 down here. Mistletoe and wine, mulled winter toddy, perfectly spiced festive fruit infusion. Not gonna lie, this one hasn't inspired my taste buds quite as much as some of the ones I've had the last couple of days. As we know, I'm more drawn to a spicy black tea, so like gingerbread, chai, then the other day I had the banana bread chai, we had a Lebkuchen inspired one the other day, so I feel like those types of teas that I can have with milk, they just tickle my fancy a little bit more, but I'm sure this will be nice nonetheless, and I'm going to make it really quickly so that I can escape the kitchen and retreat to safety away from the hidden spider. I've retreated to safety at least with my cup of tea and my porridge. What an awful start to a Tuesday morning, quite frankly. I mean, of all days, it had to be the day when Jay was going to be out literally from, he set off this morning at 7 a.m. and he's not coming back until after 6 this evening, I don't think. So I'm all alone, left to fend for myself and the children, aka Oscar and Gatsby, against this horrible spider and no one else to protect us. I mean, what the hell. But anyway, we've retreated to the office, so at least we're safe for the next couple of hours until I need to go back and get more food at lunchtime. But hopefully it might have like drifted further back in my mind by then, fingers crossed. But anyway, I've got my mulled wine flavoured tea to take the edge off, so let's give this a try. It smells just like a cinnamony tea. It smells very similar, in fact, to the first two teas that I got in the Bird and Blend one, which one was like a apple and cinnamony type one, and the other one was meant to be a cranberry pie, but they both just had like a fruity cinnamony vibe. So let's give this a try. Oh, that is actually a lot more fruity than I expected, to be honest. It's got like quite a tangy fruit, I'm guessing kind of like cranberries, red currant type of situation, and then it does have like a bit of cinnamon, but actually it's not as cinnamony as the smell of the tea would lead you to believe. So it's very tasty actually, and I'm always pleasantly surprised when fruit teas actually taste of fruit, because so often they're just so weak, so that's actually quite a nice surprise. So I'm obviously going to start work very shortly, but I do have a little bit of time to eat my breakfast and drink my tea before work, and I think I might treat myself to watching a Vlogmas video just to calm myself down after the spider debacle. But later on today I am planning to do some reading. I've been looking at my shelves feeling, for want of a better word, uninspired. Like there was nothing really taking my fancy, and so I've managed to narrow it down to 5 books, which isn't really that narrow at all, and I'll just try and think about it later. So the first one is A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw, who is the author of The Wicked Deep, and I think this is also kind of like a sort of like magical realism style novel. The blurb says that Travis Wren has an unusual talent for locating missing people. Hired by families as a last resort, he requires only a single object to find the person who has vanished. When he takes on the case of Maggie St. James, a well-known author of dark, macabre children's books, he's led to a place many believed only to be a legend. So that sounds quite intriguing, and I'm already kind of convincing myself that this is probably going to be the one that I pick up. Also on the agenda we have The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osmond, which I have started quite a while ago now, and honestly I'm probably gonna have to start again because I only made it to page 60 and then I kind of got distracted and read other things, so I do want to read this at some point, so this is on the agenda. I also have this one by Robert Webb, which is called Come Again, and this one is about, I think, someone who loses her husband, as in like he passes away, and then she keeps waking up on the sort of day that they first met and like going down different paths and seeing how things could have maybe like ended up differently if things would have taken a different route, basically, which sounds quite interesting, a bit of a Groundhog Day vibe. And actually, I know I said I'd narrowed it down to 5, but I think I'm actually going to leave it at these 3 and just figure out which one I fancy reading later on, because they all sound really interesting and I don't want to add too much more into the mix because that's only going to make it harder for myself. So we'll get started on one of these later on today, but for now I'm going to watch a Vlogmas video and then get started on work for the day. Okay, so it is now lunchtime and I'm pleased to say that I'm definitely feeling a little bit less edgy than I was this morning. God, that was such a bad start to my Tuesday. But I'm feeling a lot calmer now. In the kitchen again, so I'm over in the corner where the spider was, conquering my fears, because obviously it disappeared and I can't avoid the kitchen forever. So we're dealing with it. I'm feeling good, or as good as I can in this situation anyway. But I spent the first bit of my lunch doing some reading. I decided in the end to make a start on A History of Wild Places because I just think the cover looks so cool. And I have read The Wicked Deep by Cheyenne Shaw before, and I really liked that. I thought it was a really interesting style of writing that wasn't too fantastical for people like me who are not like majorly into fantasy, but it kind of combines mystery and crime with an element of the fantastical and with magical realism. And I think that is kind of like where my preference for fantasy style novels lies, is that it's sort of still rooted in reality but with a sprinkle of something extra. So have only read a few pages so far. I'm literally on page 26 right now, so I only made a very, very brief start, but what I've read so far was interesting and I thought the first line was very good. So I thought I would share that with you all right now. Okay, so it says, death has a way of leaving breadcrumbs, little particles of the past that catch and settle and stain. And I just thought that was a really beautiful introduction to like quite a macabre topic. So very excited to see where this goes. Currently it's kind of setting up a bit of a murder mystery, but I'm fairly confident that it's going to be revealed that it's not a murder in the end and it's actually kind of like a different kind of mystery. So very excited to see where it goes, and I'll definitely be doing more reading this evening when I finish work. But for now I've come downstairs to make a cup of tea and a crumpet for my lunch. Well, probably 2 crumpets if I'm quite honest, but I also thought I would share a current obsession because I think I have an addiction, and it is to these. The most basic thing ever, Sainsbury's free from white chocolate drops, and I just keep having them by the handful. They're so good. I think they're intended for baking, but straight in the mouth for me, and they are delightful. And they're really cheap by comparison to some, you know, expensive vegan chocolates. So Sainsbury's vegan or free from white chocolate is the best and the most comparable to dairy white chocolate that I've found since being vegan, and it's the cheapest, so love that for us. Okay, onwards to advent calendars. So let's go with the English tea shop. Hoping, because the Bird and Blend one was like a fruity tea, that maybe this one will be more of like a black tea, but there's only one way to find out. It looks like a black tea. What is it? What? This tea has already been in here. I didn't like it. It was super star anise and it was very licoricey. This was on like day 3 or something that was in there, so that's interesting. The English tea shop one includes repeats, so I'll give you another taste test, and I think maybe this time I won't leave the tea bag in for quite as long because that might help the situation, but disappointing. Of all the ones to repeat, it had to be one that I didn't like. Although I suppose we're now just over halfway, so maybe we'll start to see more frequent repetitions now in that one. Onwards to Jamtown. Where is 14? Oh, right in front of me. Ooh, cherry and hibiscus flower jam. That sounds fun. Okay. Right, well, I'm gonna go make my crumpets, make my disgusting tea, and I'll be back with a taste test. Alright, so I just actually had a little consultation with the trusty note I'm keeping with the details of every single tea that I'm getting in my tea advent calendar and which one I'm preferring each day out of Bird and Blend versus the English Tea Company. So, been checking back, and as it turns out, yesterday's tea, which will have been in the previous vlog, which was gingerbread treat, is actually also a repeat. So that was the very first day, day 1. So yesterday was the 13th, so that makes total sense. They basically just did 12 days of different tea flavours, then got back around, and now we're starting again, and I'm assuming the second 12 days will be in the exact same order and will be the exact same flavours of tea. So that is kind of disappointing in the sense that I only get 12 different flavours to try rather than 24, which is what I'm getting in the Bird and Blend one. However, it is also really interesting because I'm keeping a tally of which flavour I prefer, and there have been some days where it's been really tight between the two flavours. So one day where Bird and Blend's one has been amazing and the English Tea Company one has been just a tiny bit less amazing. So now when I'm comparing the two, this like the same English Tea Company flavours could be going up a different Bird and Blend one that might not be quite as good, so some of those flavours might get a second chance to shine. So that's interesting and a positive way to spin it. But yeah, kind of disappointing that it's just like 12 days repeated. But what can you do? At least it's not my only tea calendar, because that would be sad. But luckily I am drowning in calendars, so it doesn't really matter. Excuse me. But on to the superstar anise, which, like I said, I wasn't leaving the tea bag in for as long this time around, so I've put some oat milk in, taken the tea bag out because it was a very licoricey flavour, which I'm not a massive fan of, but I'm thinking that having it in for less time might be a little bit more preferable because it's not like a terrible flavour, it's just one that I don't love when it gets really strong. So, without further ado, yeah, see, it's like, it does taste like licorice, but it's certainly not disgusting. I just found it really hard to finish the drink the other day when it was like left the tea bag in because it just got too strong for my liking. So as a little bit of a weaker one, it's certainly drinkable. It's just not a tea that I'd ever go out of my way to buy because I just don't love that flavour, but it's not too bad. So that's my tea. On to the crumpets, which, as you saw, I decided on a day like today I was going to treat myself to not 1, not 2, but 3 crumpets, because why the hell not? So we have today's one, which was cherry and hibiscus flower. Sounds just incredible. I think cherry is such a beautiful jam flavour, and then the hibiscus flower just adds a bit of like additional fruitiness to it. I have to say, there have been quite a few fruit and flower combinations, and none of the flower flavours have been particularly strong, so that's good for people who don't really like those kinds of flowery flavours. For me, I feel like if they're going to put it on the label, it would be nice if the flavour was actually like there. But equally, the cherries are nice in and of themselves, so I can't really complain. The other 2 crumpets I've got is one is just plain vegan butter, and the other one is yesterday's jam, which was the apricot and mango, which I did my baking with yesterday, and it was delightful. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat my lunch, drink my tea, get back to work for the afternoon, and I'll catch up with you for some more reading later on today. genuinely do not know what has happened, but after finishing work this evening, I feel like I've been hit by a ton of bricks. I'm so tired. I'm genuinely struggling to keep my eyes open. So we've had dinner. It's now about 8 p.m. and I'm just gonna finish up this cup of Earl Grey and go straight to sleep because I have not got the energy for anything else other than just having as much sleep as possible tonight and hopefully feeling a bit more energetic tomorrow. I think it's a combination of a couple of really early mornings and then busy work days and all of that jazz, but I just feel super exhausted today, so it's kind of unbelievable. I genuinely, I don't even know. I'm very tired though, but this Earl Grey is delightful. Like I said a couple of times, I'm really loving tasting all of the other teas. It's so fun to expand all of the different flavours of tea in my repertoire, but sometimes you just cannot beat your old favourites, and my two go-to teas are the Yorkshire tea toast and jam blend and then just a classic Earl Grey with oat milk. You just simply cannot beat it. So one final thing before going off to bed, just thought I'd give you a tiny reading update, mostly just to say that I started reading, made it to page 53, and then literally could not keep my eyes open for a second longer, so decided to give up because I didn't want to miss all of the details. This is quite a rich in description style of book, so there's a lot of imagery and backing and forthing between present day and past timelines and building of characters and different sort of interactions, and we've now gone from what I'm assuming is the real world into this sort of sub-world paranormal situation. I'm not entirely sure what's going on yet, but we've kind of been transported into, I don't want to say another dimension because I don't think it's as specific as that, but into something a little bit other than the normal world. So there's a lot going on, a lot of detail to appreciate, and I didn't want to miss too much, so I decided to stop before I fell asleep and sort of lost my way. But I am finding it interesting. Like I say, there is a lot to sink your teeth into, and I think I'm really going to enjoy it, and I'm hoping to be able to do quite a bit more reading tomorrow. This morning I had to edit a vlog before work, so I didn't have a chance to start any reading before work, but tomorrow I won't have a vlog going up, not glowing up. I won't have a vlog going up, so instead I'll be able to do some reading before work and hopefully make the most of the time of day when I'm most energetic and least likely to fall asleep whilst reading. So that's me. It's Tuesday night. I'm going to bed at 8 p.m. because I am that crazy, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. guys, I feel like a whole new person today. Genuinely, I have woken up feeling so much more energetic and just like ready for the day than yesterday. Yesterday, like I said, I woke up feeling just like irritable, exhausted, and then the whole spider situation put a spanner in the works even more, and it just was not an ideal start to the day. Whereas today, I'm feeling good, feeling energetic. The sunrise this morning was beautiful. And it just got me thinking how grateful I am to live somewhere with seasons, because there are obviously places in the world where the weather is a lot more even, and while I assume that could be nice sometimes in terms of like always having mild weather, I just love having something new to appreciate every single season. And while there are definitely things that are like less desirable, such as being freezing cold all the time, which is not my favourite, being able to see the like bare trees just like silhouetted against a beautiful sunrise is one of my favourite things in winter. We've had a few really nice ones. So the other day, I think I shared this one in a vlog as well, there was an incredible like pink and yellow and orange sky, whereas today it was kind of like a really deep blue at the top, and then it was kind of fading down to yellow as the like sun came into the mix. And it just looked beautiful. So I'm a big fan of that and very grateful for seasons and appreciating different things about them. So I'd love to know like where you are in the world. Do you have like 4 distinct seasons, or do you have something else? And which is your favourite season? I think mine would probably have to be, it's probably autumn. I do love autumn, but I think I also really love spring, and I think there's something about like the changing that you get in both of those seasons, with like either plants springing to life or like slowly fading away. I just love that. So I'd love to know what your favourite season is as well. Christmas would be my favourite season if it was a season, but it is not. So alas, I cannot say that that's true. But anyway, feeling very happy this morning, and I realise it looks like I've had a haircut. I have not. Just got layers at the front, so it looks a lot shorter, but I'm kind of digging it. What do you reckon? I have a haircut in February, so maybe I'll go for something crazy, cut it all off. Probably not, but anyway. Onwards. So it is Tuesday morning. That is a big fat lie. It's Wednesday morning, middle of the week. I have started my day as per usual by making my trusty bowl of porridge. Decided to mix things up a little bit today because I decided to put a spoonful of Bon Maman strawberry jam into the porridge as it was cooking to give it like a nice fruity flavour. And then as usual, it's got the raspberries on top, cinnamon, peanut butter, maple syrup. I would normally have blueberries on as well, but I don't have any in the cupboard or the freezer, so it's raspberries only for me. And now I'm about to make my morning cup of tea and get started with the day. So I'm hoping for not a fruity tea, but alas, I'll have to take whatever the calendar gives me, and quite frankly, they've all been delicious, although some have been more delightful than others. They are all really tasty, so let's find out what is in number 15. Cold Weather Warrior. This is interesting. It's a herbal tea, and it's a eucalyptus and echinacea. I don't even know what that is. Oh, it's got chili in it. Why? I tell a lie. They haven't all been delicious. All bar one until this point. And this one was called Winter is Coming, and it was really spicy. It had peppercorns in it, and this one has chili in. I hope it's not too spicy, because that will make me very upset, but there is only one way to find out, so let's make a cup of tea. The smell of this one is not pleasant. It kind of smells, this is probably a little bit gross, like cat wee, like when you have to clean out the litter tray of your cat if you have one, which I do. It smells like that. That is horrific. I'm taking out the tea bag immediately. Oh god. Why? I don't know if I'm going to be able to drink this. I'm going to obviously try it, but I think it's going to be a bye-bye from me after that. Okay. Wish me luck. See, lemongrass, I think, is a flavour that can be really nice with certain things, and then with others it can make a really disgusting combination, and this is one of those instances. That is so unpleasant. And the smell, I genuinely can't with the smell. That's awful. God. So weird though, because I bet there's someone out there who is drinking this tea this morning and living their best life because they love these types of teas. But no, not for me. Not for me at all. So I'm going to go make a different cup of tea. I'm going to probably have just a cup of Earl Grey, eat my porridge, and then get started with work. I also am starting to feel the like pre-Christmas urge to clean the house thoroughly from top to bottom. I think because Christmas presents are starting to take up more space and there's a lot of clutter, and we'll have new things coming in and we need to buy new food and all of that kind of stuff. I'm suddenly very conscious of the fact that the house was feeling very messy, very cluttered. So I started this morning with a kitchen clean, just sort of like went over all of the surfaces, cleaned up some of the mess and clutter. Later on today when I finish work, I think I'm going to start tackling the kitchen cupboards, because there's definitely stuff in there that we can get rid of, like old packets of things or something that we're not going to use, and then it'll make space for when we do the Christmas food shop next week. So feeling very cleany and like I want to get on top of everything. But that did mean that I didn't do any reading this morning because I decided to sacrifice reading time in favour of doing some tidying instead. But I definitely am planning to do reading on my lunch break instead. So we'll catch up then and I will speak to you later. 2 p.m. now and I'm just taking my lunch break, and naturally it seems to be getting dark already, which is just wild. The winter solstice is next Tuesday on the 21st, so that will be the shortest day of the year, and then it'll be onwards and upwards from there back to lightness, which I'm very excited about. That is the number one thing, going back to the seasons discussion that I had with you this morning, that I dislike about winter. I think I could cope with the cold and all of that kind of stuff if it was only just as light as it was in summertime, because I just think the darkness is so difficult. But that is a major detour. I just kind of noticed that this room looks very dark to say that it's only 2 p.m. But it is my lunch break. Well, it's actually pretty much the end of my lunch break. I'm just about to head back to my desk to start working for the afternoon, but I think I've used my lunch break very wisely because I decided to do another bit of quick baking. I made some biscuits on my lunch break the other day, and it was so fun to just do a quick bit of like midday baking. So today I made the easiest cinnamon rolls ever, and I just made like a tiny little batch of them, but essentially have made this before, and I think I talked about it in a vlog back in like October time maybe. But essentially you just need dairy-free yogurt and self-raising flour, and those are the only two ingredients you need for the dough, and then you can do whatever you want with that dough. And I just made it into cinnamon rolls, so I will share the recipe down below if you're interested. It was very easy. But then while these were baking, I got on with some reading, so I feel like I've been very productive. So I'm now on page 101 of A History of Wild Places, and I'm really enjoying it. I have to say, the very beginning really intrigued me, and then it kind of took a dip in terms of my interest and understanding last night, and that dip definitely coincided with my tiredness. And then when I've come back to read it today, things are starting to become a lot clearer. So I think last night I was fairly incoherently trying to talk about this other place called Pastoral, which at first reading I thought was like another world type of thing, like a slightly different dimension. There was something a bit otherworldly going on, but actually, as it turns out, it is very much within this world, and it is a commune. So I don't quite know why the commune was created yet, but we have this commune called Pastoral that is now a very like sealed off community from the rest of society, and then things are starting to go a little bit weird there, and then I think that is going to tie into the missing person slash murder mystery case that was introduced at the very beginning. So at the moment we kind of have two plots that are running parallel to each other but haven't yet interconnected, so I'm very excited to see how that all goes. I'm definitely going to try to do some more reading tonight after I finish work. Now, as I said, it is lunchtime, so I'm just about to open my calendars, and I haven't brought my jam calendar over, so BRB. Okay, we have jam. We have lots of jam, in fact. So I'm looking for day number 15, which is all the way over here. Oh, another pink lid. How cute. Oh, jeez. Close that before it falls on the floor. Okay, so this is white nectarines and peaches with citronelle verveine. So I think that's lemon verbena. That sounds delightful, and I'm going to have that on a crumpet just now, along with my cup of tea. So let's, before we open the cup of tea, consult with my notes to find out if this is, as I expect, literally just repeating the same first 12 flavours over again in the same order. And today should be one called Chai Charge, which was the flavour of day 3. So let's find out whether it is or not. 15. Oh, there it is. And it is, which I'm not mad about today because I really liked this tea the first time around. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this tea, make my crumpets, catch you back for a taste test, and then it's back to work. Okie, so we have our tea, we have our crumpets. It's time for a taste test. So let's start with the tea, which I know I'm gonna love. Just so yummy. It's like a rooibos tea with the addition of like cinnamon, ginger, and just all of those warming spices, and it is lovely. Next up we have crumpets. This was peach, nectarine, and lemon verbena, which sounds really yummy. Delicious. It tastes just like as it sounds, absolutely delightful. So I'm gonna go and enjoy these back at my desk for the afternoon of work, and I will catch up with you this evening. Well, it's about 8 p.m, which makes it pretty much my bedtime, and I thought I would share one final reading update before the end of this vlog because I'm really liking this book. It's super intriguing, and in particular I'm loving the fact that it focuses on a commune style of living, which I just find so interesting, and I always just love reading about those things, both in like fiction and non-fiction. However, I haven't actually got that many examples of great books that focus on communes and that style of living. So one that I read earlier this year was We Went to the Woods by Kate Dolan Leach, which is about a group of people who are from New York City and then they moved to upstate New York in order to set up like a utopian cooperative situation. And then once they get there, things start to go a little bit awry, and it's kind of like a utopia goes wrong scenario, and that is really interesting. And then in terms of non-fictions that I've read, I wouldn't say I've got one that's specifically about a commune, but I have read, you know, cult-like or ex-cult members' memoirs, so things like Educated by Tara Westover, about someone who was brought up in a fundamentalist Christian household, and then similarly something by Megan Phelps Roper, who was part of the Westboro Baptist Church. She was raised in that church and then left as an adult, and I found both of those things really interesting to sort of see how someone talks about and understands the cult mindset once they're out of that scenario. So I find it really intriguing in every single sense, like whatever kind of cult or commune someone is talking about, I just find it so intriguing. This one is definitely more so, I would say, like the fictional one from We Went to the Woods, but still just super interesting to see like how it's all playing out and how secluded the community is and how they're trying to sort of protect the integrity of the community. But there are of course people who are outliers and kind of want to expand the boundaries and sort of tiptoe out of the safe confines of the community, and it's just really interesting to see how that is going to go and how strict everyone is about these rules, and I'm absolutely loving it. Now, what I mentioned earlier was that obviously we were introduced to the commune as a concept, and then we also have a mystery kind of going on alongside it, but so far they haven't massively crossed over yet. There have been a couple of hints of the two plot lines crossing over, but so far we've had a bit of an introduction to the main character from the mystery plotline, Travis, and he is someone who is able to locate missing people through some kind of paranormal means. And then after like a brief introduction to him and his storyline, we went straight into the commune, and that has probably been the last like 75 to 100 pages of the book. So I'm really finding that that is the bit that I want to stick with, because honestly, at this point, I don't have enough information about the other plotline to really care about it. And now I've had so much of the commune plotline that I'm really invested in it, and I kind of don't want the two to swap over. And I think that is the case with a lot of like dual plotline novels, is that you end up preferring one to the other, and that can be a bit bittersweet when you end up swapping over to the other side. But on the whole, really enjoying this so far. It's intriguing. I I find it really interesting sort of concept for a novel, and I'm just finding it to be nicely written, easy to follow, and I'm really looking forward to reading more. Although on my own part, I just need to make sure that I'm a bit better at prioritising reading time tomorrow, because I obviously today was cleaning before work, yesterday it was editing, and before work is just my most optimal time for reading because it's when I'm at my most energetic, whereas in the evening, as we see, I make dinner, watch a little bit of telly, and then before I know it I'm exhausted and ready for bed, meaning that I only have a chance to read a couple of chapters at most. So tomorrow I'm going to try and flip that around, do a bit more morning reading just to try and get ahead a little bit more. But tomorrow is Thursday, which makes it my last work day of the week, and that means in the weekend I should have more time for reading as well. So I hope you have enjoyed this Vlogmas. I feel like this has probably been my least exciting Vlogmas video so far because it was a Tuesday and a Wednesday at work. I mean, you can't really do too much to make that interesting, but I hope you've enjoyed seeing what I got up to for the last couple of days nonetheless. And then tomorrow is, like I said, the last day of the work week, so the next vlog, which features Friday. I have some very exciting plans and I can't wait to share them with you all. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.